Welcome to this week's Yes with Tamika and Marissa. This week we're going to be talking about advocating for yourself and all the forms that goes with. But I want to talk more importantly, advocating for yourself on a female, women's side of it. But first, Tamika, how you doing?
But first, that's my Julie Chen line. I'm
Julie
fine.
Chen Moonves?
Moonves.
But first.
In the range of Julie Chen. Anyway.
Well, firstly, thusly, before we get into that.
That's what I want you to say. Before we get into that. How you doing? I'm good.
How's your cough?
When are you going to stop asking me that?
Never. I love it.
Part of the show now.
Yeah, I said it in every show.
Anyway.
You seem a little bothered here, right?
No, it remains.
What?
It remains. My cough remains.
Oh, it remains.
Comes and goes, but it remains.
Okay. All right then. How's your week been?
Has anybody ever died of a cough? Like cough to death?
Cough to death?
And can never catch, I wonder.
I'm going to Google that.
I don't really want to know, but for the years I thought that I would die in like a grease fire.
Oh, like I remember.
Fire, some car, something. I still kind of believe that, but then part of me also feels like I'm gonna like choke on something and die that way, and nobody's gonna be like around.
Oh my gosh!
I hope I live, though. What?
You can cough to death.
I believe it.
Violent coughing can cause the pleura, Pleura,
okay,
pleura to rupture, leading to pneumothorax, vomiting after a coughing spell, or in yes,
you can die.
Yes, you could die.
Oh my god! We just had a conversation about how people just keep going on and on. Just let it end.
That was a pet peeve.
Let it end. I heard I get it. You can die from a cough. My gosh.
I was just trying to read it. I don't have my glasses. I feel my brain has melted.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my. Listen, but no, for real though. Let's get back to it. Do you think that you advocate for yourself?
At times.
Can you give me an example of when you have?
Well, I think advocating for yourself, it means when you feel like somebody has disrespected you, and you stand up for yourself.
Okay. So
it can be where you're in a store and somebody's not asking for your, that somebody like an associate is like kind of ignoring you.
Oh, I hate that.
And so you can sit there and stew in it, or you can be like, excuse me, I need your assistance.
Right.
And what they gonna say? No,
yeah.
And you know what the best thing to do? So so I think the best thing to do is not what I always do. The best thing to do, and it's kind of a jerky move, is to get them to help you with a whole bunch of stuff and be like, y'all got layaway? Oh no, okay, I don't need this stuff.
Really?
Because they just treated you like you didn't matter.
Right,
so,
right.
You make them work for it, and then you turn around like, I don't want that. What I always end up doing, and this happened to me when I was in the Gucci store. So I've been there a couple times, bought a couple things, different occasions. And I went in there and was not being helped, asked nothing. Which is like weird, because usually I get followed. And I usually get followed and not even like, hey, how are you doing? They just follow you around the store. This particular time, I didn't get followed. I didn't get greeted upon my arrival, nothing. So finally, I went up to the register, to the counter, and I told them specifically what I wanted. And she gave me the look like, okay, whatever. Because I'm not a pretentious person. Like, I'll go in with flip-flop. Like, I'm just not. Yeah. I wear hip hat. I wear the same.
Yeah.
I don't try hard. I don't try enough. Maybe that's why. It's another story. Anyway,
different topic.
You attract what you are. But anyway, so she gave me like a up and down, like, who is you? I was like, and I told her without her even getting to the point, like, who are you? I told her my name's on file, and I gave her my license.
Bitch.
She's like, I'll be right back. And then she came back. She's like, would you like to use the credit card on file? I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
And she was, all of a sudden her demeanor changed. I was like, yeah, bitch, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I might come in here with some dirty polo flip-flops, but you know what?
They polo, bitch.
They polo, bitch. So you have to advocate for yourself in that way. Sometimes I think.
More than just
people
that,
sometimes people will take you for granted, and unless you speak up for yourself, nobody else will.
Right.
What about yourself?
I can give you a plethora of examples of where I have not advocated for myself.
Well, give me one and one.
Oh gosh. Okay, I will say. My mind just went to a blank.
Story.
I'm sorry. No, my mind. As soon as you give me one, I saw my little think bubble go boop. Not advocating for myself would be. I'll use our old job for an example. There are times where I feel like our old supervisor just completely overlooked you and me, both of us. And instead of I remember there was somebody I was venting to, and she goes, yeah, but you have to. She's like, you have to call him. You have to tell him. You got to remind him. You can't just sit there. You can't wait. He's not going to think. He doesn't think of anybody. He only thinks of himself. And I just was like, I can't do that. I don't want to be that. That's not something I can, it just felt so unnatural and uneasy. But I almost feel like would I have been able to go further had I advocated for myself, even just a little.
When have you advocated for yourself?
I feel like never, but I would say maybe. Oh gosh. I feel like never, but maybe but stupid stuff where somebody cuts me in line and I'm like, oh, excuse me, I was here first.
Well, think about it this way. I'll bring up something. You tell me, and I want you to be completely honest. Okay. When you bought your last home, the one you sold recently, and you did when you went in there, was it all you? Did you sit there with the people when you were purchasing it?
Oh yeah, it was by myself.
You did all that, you sat. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So you're advocating for yourself because you're the one doing, making sure the numbers match.
Yes.
So I think that you advocate for yourself when it comes to business, when it comes to your own personal business.
Yeah.
When it comes to making sure your kids are good and enrolled in the right stuff, that paperwork is legit, everything looks, your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted.
Yeah.
I think you're very good at advocating for yourself in that way.
Yeah.
So you have to pat yourself on the back in that way.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Oh my bad, I'll take it. No, you're right. I definitely do that. There have been times where I think I have one child who I think when it comes to their schooling, I think they get overlooked.
But I think you even whether it's getting proper insurance, life insurance, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You advocate for yourself because nobody else gonna make sure you good and you're your future is set.
No, you're right.
People can say that, yeah, I got you.
But
really, who got you?
Me.
But you.
I got me. You know what's so funny? Whenever my brother and I talk about finances ad nauseum, probably sometimes because that we like to do that. But he and I have a discussion about life insurance. I like whole, he likes term, and he's always like, but that's silly, why would you do that? I'm like, because there's cash value to it, and it grows and whatever. And whenever I tell someone, I was like, no, it's whole, I have whole. They're like, but why? But I'm like, because your term is going to finish, and then you're probably going to have diabetes by the time you have to go get a new one, and you're not going to be able to get it. But anyway, whatever. I will advocate for my choices. These are the choices I made, and this is why, and I advocate.
Nobody can talk you out of it once you've made up your mind.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. No.
So you have to remember those things.
Oh yeah.
When you're thinking about yourself and you might feel insecure or feel down about yourself, remember those moments where you made the best choice for you and nobody could talk you out of it because this is what you wanted.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So you advocate for yourself at times.
Oh yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
I think as women though, we have moments, and I know you're dying for me to share this on the podcast. I really don't want to, but whatever. I think as women, we tend to live in a society where we're told not to shut up. Just, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And until you're facing that moment, you don't realize it.
Yes.
Until it's like that moment.
Yeah.
So I had that moment a few days ago. I went to the doctor. First of all, let me start from the beginning. I had to have my annual gynecological visit. I go to make an appointment with my doctor. The receptionist tells me my doctor is no longer seeing traditional patients anymore. I never got a letter, nothing informing me like there's been a change.
Right.
Nothing. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, she's only seeing like pregnant women and women trying to have babies and dealing with that. Well, I guess that's the obstetrics part of it. I was like, I researched her. My goal was to grow old with her. Like, we're the same age. That was the whole purpose of me.
Yeah.
She's been my doctor for over 10 years. Like, there's a reason why I sought her out.
I just can't even imagine how that's even possible, but okay, yeah.
So she's like, hold on. She comes back, she's like, yeah, no, you have to find another doctor. I can give you a list. I was like, give me the names. I researched the name. I'm like, I'm not feeling these doctors. Like, I looked at them.
Nobody,
and I don't know. I just wasn't feeling, nothing stood out for me that I was like, okay, yeah. So anyway, I decided I needed an appointment kind of ASAP because I need a refill on a prescription and I need to have this. It's annual, so you have to get whatever.
Yeah.
So I make an appointment with another doctor. At a different facility. The receptionist tells me this doctor's out on leave indefinitely. I was like, and I researched this doctor. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he's out on leave. I was like, well, when's he going to be back? She's like, we don't know. I was like, oh. She's like, well, we have another doctor that's in the practice. But she's like, I wouldn't recommend you keeping him for a long time because he's older and, you know, he's not going to grow. Because I told her how I want to find somebody to grow with me. She's like, he's not going to grow with you. You're not going to grow.
Yeah, he
don't grow.
He don't grow. But you didn't know that. They didn't articulate in those terms. But yeah.
So anyway, I go to the doctor's office and it's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. He's like, can barely walk. He's got the big ass shoes. God bless him, he's still working. He shouldn't be. He's like 80, 90 years, like 90, close to 90. Although white crack, so he could be 70. I don't know. But he looked like he was close to 90. So one thing is, like, I've had male doctors before, and there's always a nurse in the
room,
examination room when you're there, because it's like a what do you call it? What do you call that when it's like it's like you just a check, like a, I don't know.
Just like a checks and balances.
Yeah, checks and balances type of thing. They always have a female in there just to make sure, you know, you can't say nothing went on.
Yeah, I've never had a male. Well, I've only had one male GYN, and there was always a nurse there. I've never been alone with a male doctor.
Well, my first gynecologist was a male, but my mom was always in the room when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I got my own gynecologist, which was a male.
Right.
And there was always a nurse in the room at the same time. And then the female doctor is the one my last one. And now this guy is just like a one-off. Anyway, he's in there, and he starts doing what I thought was a pap smear. But I'm like, I don't know if technology, like, it's like weird because you're not sure. She's like, all I know is that it goes in.
He's looking at something.
Right, and he's looking at the screen. I'm like, okay, so this is advanced technology. I'm like, it looks like a sonogram, but I'm like, they just changed it up. Like, maybe technology, you know, a lot changes in the year. So then he takes it out, and it's very painful, by the way, when he gets it, you know, because he's almost went in the wrong hole.
Oh wait,
okay.
He did an ultrasound.
The mofo did an ultrasound sound, okay? But I thought he was doing I know. I don't know what was going on, okay? This is what I say where women don't speak up, because it's like, I didn't know what to say. Like, my legs are in the air. I have no, like, it was just just bad.
Yeah.
So then he takes it off, removes the latex, and leans back in his chair, and he's like, you're 3 weeks pregnant. I'm like, almost spit on myself, okay? I'm like, 3 weeks pregnant? I was like, what? I was like, Impossible. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, that's impossible. He was like, well, all of a sudden he's like stuttering. I was like, look, I don't want to get into it, but it's not possible, okay, at this juncture in my life. Unless, and then I said, unless it's the immaculate christening of Jesus Christ himself.
Oh my God.
And he was like, he laughed. He was like, and then he opens up my folder and he's like, you came for a pregnancy test, right? I was like, no, I came in for my annual pap smear. He's like, oh, okay, put your feet back up. Right? Put my feet back up. He clamps me, you know, with the... Now, at my other doctor, they have the new disposable ones that don't hurt. It's like plastic, in, out, throw it away.
Yeah.
He's got the metal one, okay, the old school. Not that I never had it before, but it's been like a decade or more. And it's painful. You hear him scrolling.
Oh my gosh.
Painful, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, he's pressing down on my stomach. There's a whole lot of crap, right? So then, feel the swab and, you know, just the whole
terrible.
Men, if you're listening, yes, this is what we fucking go through, okay? It's not fun, okay? A pap smear is not fun. It's not.
It's painful.
It's painful.
And people are like,
because you're on edge.
But it's not supposed to be painful. I don't understand how it's not. If you see the tools that they use,
right?
How is it on edge?
It's not like you're like, oh, I'm in the mood. Yeah. It's like mofos are sticking apparatuses, not a dildo, okay? It's a metal. They don't know what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Things that are not bendable, things that are not like soft and yeah.
Well, now they have the newer ones, but this doctor did not have it. Anyway, he finishes it, pull it out, and the thing is bloody, and blood is coming out. And I'm like, what happened? He was like, you're about to get your period. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm like due in 2 weeks. Right? I know I'm on a regular cycle. I'm on birth control. I'm giving away way too much information, but it is what it is.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I wish I would have took a picture. I was so traumatized. I wish I would have took a picture of the thing. But he was like, all right, put your clothes on and meet me in my office. And I'm laying there. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I go in his office. He writes out prescriptions for my medication or whatever. And I'm just like traumatized. I see my bloody thing is on the table, like for the nurse to come in and
just sitting there.
I grabbed the pad before I left the office. They have, usually they have pads. Yeah. Grab a pad, put it in, and so basically he fucked up and he did the procedure. It was just bad. It was bad and on all type of levels. First of all, like many of you guys know, I went through a period where I was trying to have a baby, and the one thing I always wanted a doctor to say that, congratulations, you're pregnant. This mofo tells me I'm pregnant, and I know that I'm not.
How could he? But I don't understand. What did he mistake?
What did he see?
Embryo. I mean, what, like an ovarian cyst?
What? I don't.
But he wasn't even looking in that direction.
He took pictures. He printed out the pictures. So I'm like, okay, why are you printing the pictures for? In hindsight, I wish I would have took that so that I could have, like, you're not thinking though.
No,
this is what I talk about with advocating for yourself, because women sometimes we can be emotional beings, especially when it comes to parts of our body that are very unique as it pertains to men and women. Yeah. And so it didn't dawn on me all the things that I should have did and should have said, and I was nervous, I was scared, I was upset. Like all kinds of things going through my head. And so after I spoke to you about it, I spoke to my mom about it, and I called the insurance company, and they've escalated it, and hopefully everything's going to be, fixed so that I can go to another doctor and have the procedure done again and get everything taken care of the way it needs to be taken care of. But I say all this to say that it's important, especially in a situation like that where it's me and him in the room.
By yourself.
I should have spoke up immediately and been like, can you have a nurse in here too? Yeah. Number one. I probably wouldn't have had a sonogram. Right. She would have probably stopped that. Yeah. Number two, I don't even know what else to say. I'm just short right now. I don't even know what. I just keep thinking to myself, like, what the hell happened?
What kind of doctor is this that he, like, because that internal sonogram, like, you have to point these things in certain directions.
That's what he was doing.
What did he mistake for an embryo? Like, isn't that like GYN 101?
I know. He told me I was 3 weeks pregnant.
How, like, when you were telling me over the phone, I was like, this bitch hates the phone, and she's gonna tell me she's over the effing phone?
Said I'm pregnant, right?
Yeah, and then I'm like my mind got stuck there. And then you're like, no. And I was like, I'm heartbroken. I went through a roller coaster. I can't imagine what you were going through. I mean, I can, you know what I mean? But I'm like, if I feel this way, how dare he?
And now I gotta go get another.
You gotta do this shit all over again. Oh my gosh.
But I'm gonna go back to my original doctor's office and ask them specifically for the letter they sent out stating that she's no longer a doctor. On top of that, I'm gonna ask to see a nurse on duty, and I will wait there to discuss with the nurse what happened to me, and hopefully they will be like, all right, let's see if we can get you in.
Yeah.
At least let me see her this one last time so I can do the research and find a proper doctor.
Yeah.
That I feel comfortable with, that has updated equipment, has great reviews. I mean,
never in my life have I heard it go this way.
Never.
I always heard it go from OB to solely GYN.
Right.
Like, how is this even possible? But
I don't know if it's true.
Notified. And you have to be notified. That's the thing. Like,
on top of it, homie, I didn't even tell you this part. I get home from work yesterday, and there's a letter from my doctor's office, my main doctor, because all my doctors are under the same medical group,
right?
Except for this man that I went to see the other day. He's on a completely different medical group that I just needed.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so my primary care physician get a letter from her. I have decided to step down from my position. These are the doctors that are available. I'm like, what the hell is going?
What is going on?
I think they're making changes at the medical group.
Oh yeah, and
they must be, because I'm like, why is she stepping down? Now I gotta find a new primary care physician.
Oh.
It's not as bad as like with the GYN. That's like invading. Like that's So, women, I say all this to say, when it comes to your health care, your well-being, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you need to be your advocate, your own advocate,
as well as your finances.
And your finances.
Yeah, you have to be your advocate. I just think about like all the things that could have been avoided. Like, remember I told you how, like, you know, I think the reason I was so vocal about, you know, all my IVF and stuff like that is because when I first started to talk about it, members of my family kept telling me, like, well, don't tell anybody, don't let anyone know, and it just made me feel so shameful. And then other medical things that I have gone through, whenever I talk about it, I get the same thing. Well, don't tell anybody. You don't want people to, like, you know. And that, for some reason, that struck me. We're like, no, you're right. Okay. And then once the IVF stuff came up, I was like, no, I can't. I'm not living like that.
Right.
I'm not doing anything wrong. This is nothing that I can
You shouldn't be shamed into it.
I'm not going to be ashamed. I can't be. On top of everything else that the life shames me for, this ain't going to be it.
Right.
And it's like if you're too vocal as a female, you're not fitting into the cookie cutter roles that other people have assigned to you. If you're not vocal enough, oh well, you know what, that's her fault. Nobody else is going to do it for her. But if she does, then she's a bitch. If she makes her own money and goes to work, then she doesn't care about having a family. If she has a family and then doesn't go to work, oh, she's lazy.
It's crazy.
If you go to college, oh, now you're too smart and you're knocking suitors out from your plethora of available options. If you don't go to school, oh, you have no one to, you know, nobody's going to take you anyway. I just don't, like, no matter what women do. But a guy can have a beer gut, be 54 and marry a 22-year-old, and I just don't understand it.
I don't understand.
But okay. All right.
That's because there are women that have been taught money and then love.
Yeah.
Things.
Then love. But then again, that goes back to not advocating for yourself, because I highly doubt that imbalance in relationships has to do with self-love. But you don't need a relationship to progress in life. None of that. But
I'll say this about you and being a friend for so long and seeing your growth when it came to the things that you chose for yourself. When I first met you, I wouldn't say you were materialistic, but your goal to me was to find somebody that was going to take care of you.
It was, yeah.
And in a way, you have that, but not that you didn't go into it looking for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, it's about growing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but in the beginning, it was like, ooh, he got this, that. And I was like, okay. And you were the first person I had ever been around who, that's what you look for in a guy.
Yeah.
None of my friends was like, he ain't got shit, but whatever. He fucks good. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, me and my friends, it was always about sex. It was not about, like, what can he do for me? Because they could never do shit.
Yeah.
Like, you take care of yourself, because that motherfucker can't take care of you.
Yeah.
You were, like, the first one I met that was like, no, get you a guy that's going to pay your rent. I'm like, really? He loves you. If he pay your rent, he love you.
Yeah. He got you shopping? Yeah.
He got you a watch? Ooh, yeah, that keep him.
Well, what kind is it, though?
Yeah,
those were on sale. I'd be like, those were on sale. Right. No, I know, yeah.
So,
you know what?
You came a long way, because that's how you used to think. I'm surprised you're admitting now that you could. There'd be a time if I'd have brought this up like offline, you'd be like, that's not true.
Probably no, because you know what? That had so much to do with my insecurities, my whole life. You know, I hate to put it this way, and this has nothing to do with anyone else but me. But my brother and I are 13 months apart. He was always the favorite of everything.
In your opinion.
But this was. But he'll even tell you. I highly doubt that he can't. There's no way he's going to disagree with me, because he's even admitted to this when it comes to our mom. But he was always like, everything he did was just amazing. He was always the smartest, this, to that. And I always felt like such a failure. And he has even said to me, because when our dad died and we were at the funeral home, I introduced myself to somebody that he worked with, because they were gushing over my brother. They're like, oh my gosh, he always talked about you, so proud of you, so nice to see you. I'm like, hey, I'm Marissa, I'm his daughter. And probably after the third person, I went and sat down with a cousin, and I was like, I can't talk to anybody anymore. They kept saying, oh wow, I didn't even know he had a daughter. And I remember I said something to my brother, and he's like, yeah, but you don't do anything that's fantastic for him to be proud of. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I'm living on my own, completely on my own, financially independent. Yeah, my mom lived in the BVI, and she paid for me to come see her. I get that. No. Like, there's things that she did for me, yes. I would never have been able to afford to go see her on my own, but I was paying my own rent, buying my own groceries, buying my own clothes and stuff like that, and I was doing things on my own. And I just remember, and I was going to college, and I remember thinking to myself, like, that's such a beautiful thing. How could you not, how is that not such an amazing thing?
Because you put value in that, other people don't.
Yes.
There's people that
don't. No,
people
you're right.
Give a shit about college. Like, so?
Yeah.
Why are you wasting your money on that?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I just think about, like, but up to that point, I just remember always feeling, and just growing up with him, I guess having such close in ageness, he did things, and whatever moments in our life, he did it, and literally 12 months later, it was me doing it. So it was always one of those things.
Right.
It's just a very hard way to grow up, and I just thought to myself, I would never be able to give myself anything, because I'm not smart enough, and I'm not dedicated enough, and I just don't have all the beautiful things that you need to create a beautiful life for yourself, until I was out on my own, and I looked for, I guess, love in all the wrong places. Yeah, I put value on, like, listen, this dude's going to take me shopping, then he can have some of my time. This dude's going to buy me stuff, then yeah, he can have some of my time. But then it was like, wait a minute. I'm giving them time. They're not giving me anything that I just can't give for myself. And then when I started to do more things for myself, I realized just how impactful and amazing I was. Because, yeah, he was buying me a watch, but it was a watch that he wanted to buy me. It didn't always mean it's the one that I wanted.
Right.
And once you have that shift and you realize that the things that you want and the things that your life and your happiness is solely responsible on you. No one can make you happy but you. People add to your happiness, but anything you want in life is completely and solely up to you. And once I understood that lesson, then it was like just a shift. I got a job that I really, really loved. I got my first place. I did all these things on my own for myself. And it was a big shift because I knew that it didn't matter what anyone else thought, and it didn't matter whatever box or definition they gave me. That was from them.
Do you believe that you realized that, or circumstances dictated it, and as you started doing things on your own, it started to become clear, you started to realize it?
Oh yeah, it started to become clear.
I think you were your circumstances made themselves the way they were, and you were forced to make choices for yourself because it is what it is. It wasn't. I don't believe that it was like you one day woke up and was like, you know what, I got to be my own advocate. I think it was like, ain't nobody else gonna do it for you, so around. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Then you realized what mattered to you and what didn't, and you started making choices based off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
Glad to know. See, I was perceptive.
No, but like, I mean, when you meet somebody at 18, and then now here I am at 28, 38, 39. Shit, I lied too much about my age.
Yeah,
but here I am at 39. Yeah.
You know, when you speak to, like, I tell people, that's the one thing too. Going back to my doctor's, he's like, you're 45? I was like, yeah. He's like, wow. I was like, no, just give me my prescriptions and let me go.
Oh my God.
But when you feel like if I told people I was 38, they'd be like, okay.
If you told them you were 28, they'd be okay.
But if I lied about my age and made myself younger,
yeah,
and they accepted it, you know how shitty I feel? But because I tell them my real age and they think I'm younger, it feels a lot better.
It does feel, yeah,
just
it feels
go with
good.
it.
Yeah, but I'm saying from 18 to 39, it's like, like, these are 3 lifetimes already.
Yeah.
And, damn.
But I think at the end of the day, it's like, it comes down to, like, the choices that you've made and where you are today is because you made choices for yourself.
Yes.
Whatever those choices may be. So you started off this show saying you can't think of any time that you've ever been an advocate for yourself, when in actuality, you've proven that you've been an advocate for yourself year after year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
You just need to take a step back and recognize in which way.
I'm very self-deprecating for some reason. And you know what? I realized this the other day where I'm so angry at myself for this. For some reason, and I'm not very forthcoming with people that I don't know or I haven't, like, put into my little circle of trust. There's people that I can have 3-hour conversations with and say nothing to. And for some reason, I don't know if I'm doing this on purpose, but there's some of this, like, happy-go-lucky leprechaun-ish vibe that I give off, where people have constantly questioned either my intelligence or my integrity or ability to do things, and I get so angry at myself, and I don't. That's one of the things I think I'm working on as I'm getting older, where it just is what it is. I just need to stop being so insecure still. You know, there's a lot of things that I have worked on, but there's so many things I'm so insecure about still, and that's one of the things where I can't. It irks me.
I mean, what would be your purpose in life if you there wasn't room for growth?
Oh yeah, right.
So
yeah,
you know, accept it and understand that you still have a lot of learning to do.
Yeah,
growing.
And it's crazy because whenever I look back at the major insecurities that I had growing up, like, I look back at photos and I always felt like I was a fat kid. Mind you, I was probably like 40 pounds in like 6th grade. You know what I mean? Like a bag of bones for a lot of time. And I look back and I'm like, wow. And I thought I was fat, but I let people's opinions get to me in a certain way, and I don't even value those opinions anymore. And it's crazy to me how, like, really, I put all this time and so much stock into what they said, and here I am, and it's like, really?
I remember being around you and one of your relatives who constantly nagged at your weight and your hair.
Yeah.
And why you don't wear makeup.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell?
My hair, my weight, and no makeup.
Like,
yeah.
And I was like, the bitch, I don't even think you was 100 pounds yet.
No, I was 92 pounds. 92 pounds.
And your hair, and I remember you cut your hair, like a bob or something like that. It was like, she just, like, always had an issue with one thing or the other. And I think at the end of the day, you allowed her opinions, probably about what herself.
Yeah.
She probably saw herself in you and didn't want you to become who she became.
Yeah.
Who knows? You never know what people's motivations are.
Their battles are,
But you can't let other people dictate your life and your goals and your dreams. They can have opinions about it, and I think you should do this, that, and the other. But when their opinions and their thoughts and their vibe or whatever starts to have an impact on how you live your day, and if it's negative, that's not good.
That's not good, and that's the whole thing.
That goes back to this whole show. Being an advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Had I advocated earlier, had I said something,
stepped up, and in a nice way, like, thank you for your opinion, but I really like the way I look, and thank you for your opinion, but I don't want to wear makeup every day. No. Thank you for your opinion, but I really like the way my hair looks.
Yeah.
Thank you for your opinion, but I eat healthy, and I like the weight that I'm at.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, us as women, we don't always stand up and speak for ourselves.
But you're taught to just be a fixture
and listen to the opinions of others.
Yeah.
Because everybody else's opinion is better than yours.
And I think that's the way. It's so funny, like the way people raised children then, and like it's an evolution. The way they spoke to girls and boys back when we were growing up was very much like boys. It was like the verbiage was so different.
I want your shoes. I can't stop looking at them. Sorry, go ahead.
Really? These are from Target.
You know I wear those kind of...
Oh my gosh, and they're so comfortable.
Yeah, they look comfy. But go ahead.
So, with girls, it's more like, well, you don't want your friends to like not like you because your hair's not brushed.
Right.
Right? You don't want to wear stuff like that because your friends don't wear stuff like that. Meanwhile, it's so funny. I have a cousin who doesn't really... I don't say she doesn't fuck with me, or she does. Like, we just don't really... We're in two different spaces in life.
Y'all are cousins, but
yeah, but that's
probably wouldn't have been friends if you weren't related.
Definitely not. And that's no shade to her, because we're just in two different places in our life. And I remember she like when we got older, I remember having a conversation. She's like, "Man, my grandma always used to be like, I used to hate when you came over." And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Oh, because my grandma would always be like, why are you wearing that? Marissa would never wear that. Oh, Marissa would never do that. And she always compared me to you." And I'd be like, what?
You probably never knew.
Not only did I never knew, and it was like, you go through life thinking like you're the worst, you're the ugliest, your clothes are the wackest, your hair's the most fucked up, you're the fattest, you're the this, you're the that, you're not funny, you're not smart, you're not clever, but there's always somebody in life that's like, you're the gold standard.
Right.
If only you knew then what. Yeah, like everybody's going through a struggle. Yep. Everybody's uncomfortable. Everybody's got an insecurity.
Everybody got some shit, but you gotta advocate for yourself.
Speak up.
Speak up.
I think about I want to transition a little bit to.
Yep, that's trending.
So I'm not a fan of Homegirl, but I kind of want to talk about it because I feel like Homegirl advocates for herself a lot. I'm just insecure in her ways. Oh, wait a minute. Damn it. So, Taylor Swift. Are you a fan? What do they call her fan base?
I can't stand her. Swifties.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of hers. Never.
I don't want to give my personal opinion just yet. But her masters were sold to Scooter Braun, and she is like not having it. She feels like she was duped, wasn't told about it. She has come out to say he's a bully, but I question that. So I know you did some back end work when you were at the music label. When they go to sell an artist masters, do they have to be notified?
No.
They don't.
No.
But the label is claiming that
unless it's in their contract.
Which now, because artists are getting smarter, and their teams are getting smarter. So I wonder, her management team claims that they told her dad about it, and that she knew about it, and she had the option to buy her masters first.
Right.
And she's claiming that that's not true. But here's the thing about Taylor Swift. She has been caught out there a few times with she says one thing and something else really happens, and she claims that everybody bullies her. So I'm getting into like murky waters here, and I don't really want to. But she's advocating that she found out the same as everyone else. She didn't have her option to buy. Blah blah blah. Have you heard about this?
So I have, and the guy that signed her and sold her masters,
right?
They had a week before he sold it. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they had a meeting. Her father was in on the meeting, and she was offered to purchase her masters if she stayed with the label. She would, she would be given her masters if she agreed to re-sign with the label.
Oh, okay.
She decided not to re-sign, so he sold them to his business partner, Scooter Braun.
Okay.
He notified her and said, look, this is the deal, this, that, and the other. Taylor Swift is a pain in my you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? You going to say that's bullying?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She loves to advocate. She loves playing the victim.
Yes.
Because in that same letter, she talked about when you got Kim Kardashian and Kanye to bully me.
But how?
With the song. Remember he called her a bitch or something?
He's I made that bitch famous.
Yeah.
I mean, still fuck Taylor Swift.
It's all a matter of opinion whether or not he made her famous. I do know one thing. A lot of people were introduced to Taylor Swift the day that he took the mic away from her and said, I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah.
Beyonce should have won Album of the Year.
Yeah.
A lot of people knew Taylor Swift. She obviously won Album of the Year. So
for a reason.
She was already famous. But I tell you, there are people that had no idea who the hell she was.
But here's the thing, though. So... And
she was a country artist then. All of a sudden she wanted to be pop.
Now she's pop, but whatever. So, but here's the thing. So let's break this down, because you and I have this thing when it comes to artistry. When a hip hop artist is rapping about something, that is their art. That's their art. That's their opinion. That's how they're expressing a situation. So, do we have the right to say? She has the right to feel the way she took the information. She has a right to that.
Right.
But to turn around and what she did, I'm not quite sure.
What do you mean?
Her reaction to how she heard about his verse, saying that she had no idea, this, that, and the other. Then Kim came out with the receipts that there was a phone call. Kanye called her and let her know. The full verse, no. I don't think he told her the full verse. I really don't. But he gave her the synopsis of it. She knew about it.
Right.
She knew something was coming out. But now it makes me question, she played the victim, and then she's like, well, you don't have the right to tell me what my reaction can be. No, absolutely.
You're right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But to put yourself in such a victim chair, and then be like, well...
They bullied me on social media, and then with Justin Bieber coming out and was like, I'm sorry you feel the way you do, but ain't nobody bullied you.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a good guy. I posted a picture. It's not, everything is like she always plays the victim. And she always plays the prize.
She capitalizes very much on her victim role.
And nobody wants to see a blonde, blue-eyed chick play victim.
Nobody cares.
It's like, historically, if you go back to the beginning of time in this country, it's the damsel in distress, damsel in distress. Even when you see black and white movies where it's like no sound, she's like, oh, oh, and then the guy comes and rescues her.
Ugh.
And meanwhile, it's like, what? You couldn't jump over the puddle?
No, she couldn't. But it makes me question because she's very.
It's a pain in my ass.
She's a big engine. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much contrived when it comes to her. I question whether or not she's the bully in all of these scenarios, because you're forcing people to speak on situations probably they never had a desire to do. You're forcing people to have these options now.
Right.
Where Kim, like, no offense, but Kim is busy creating marketing strategies for her brand. She ain't looking for you, Taylor.
You just have to bring up. I brought up the Kardashians, I guess, but I'm sick of Kim Kardashian. Her and her I want to trademark kimono.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that, but no, she can't. She's changing the name.
She changed. She decided not to.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway.
She's a kowtow.
She loves advocating for herself. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so here it is. Kim ain't looking for you, bitch. But then all of a sudden she was like, all right, well, if you want the receipts here, you can have them.
Right.
And then what? So then it was like, well, you can't tell me what my reaction can be. No, absolutely nobody can.
See,
but
the
in the same breath,
like,
you can't say that you were victimized.
That's the whole thing. Because Taylor came out with like, they were mean and I feel bad. And, you know, sometimes you got to protect yourself too.
I get it.
You know, like I'm talking about the Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
It's like Taylor Swift is out here. It's like, you know what? In a weird way, it reminds me of like the police brutality. Okay, the police they'll do something fucked up and be like, well, I felt threatened. Let me see the proof. You felt threatened when the guy was on the ground with his hands behind his back. Really? Yeah. What was he gonna do? Kick you in the nuts?
Yeah.
So Taylor Swift is like a police officer. Okay. And we are.
Ain't nothing worse than a scared police officer.
Right. That's what I should say. She's a scared police officer. That's who she is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every time she always be like, they did this, that, and the other. Let's go to the tape. So where was you scared again? What happened? Where was you bullied? So because Justin Bieber posted a picture of himself, Scooter Braun, and Kanye West, you feel like they're bullying you? Really? Little kids, 12-year-olds are killing themselves because somebody told them to kill themselves because they're gay. I don't want to hear about you and your bullying. Go talk to Melania and get on that Be Best campaign and shut the fuck up. Okay?
Be Best.
Bullying. She had no idea what bullying is.
She's a bully. Yes,
she's the biggest bully of them all.
She's a bully. I've seen her on interviews where she's very what other people perceive to be very clever, she's very cutting.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like the type of person you can trust.
Oh,
I've never seen an interview where everything about her seems like just fake. I don't know. I mean, whatever. God be with her.
You fake. That's the type of people I hate. Come on.
I don't know that
fake.
Song.
You phony.
Oh yeah.
That's the type of I hate.
And on that note, because I don't know that song.
Wait. I want to backtrack a little bit about advocating for yourself.
Okay.
Even though this bitch is like, you sent me an article from the New York Times. I know we weren't going to talk about it, but I want to talk about it.
I'd rather not talk about it.
All right,
you already brought it up.
Oh, okay.
I only sent it to you for your own personal perusal, not for the show.
Oh.
You know, sometimes I send you things just to read, but I know you wanted to bring it up on the show. You wanted the whole show to be about this or like touch on it. So go ahead and bring it up since you.
It's a New York Times op-ed, and it's called "I've Picked My Job Over My Kids" by Laura Bazelon. She is a law professor. So, you know, when advocating for yourself, and this is what I mean. That's why I want to bring it up. People can. It's I picked my job over my kids. New York Times op-ed piece. You can Google it. I'm not going to talk about what the article is, But the theme of this article makes me go back to advocating for yourself, and in different ways, where how we spoke about before, the definition anyone has for you, and we all do this. I know I'm guilty of it, because I've seen, like, there's members of my family that I know that if they don't fall into the definition that I've already placed on them, then I'm like, oh, whatever, look at this bitch trying. You know, I'm just as bad as the next person.
Yeah.
But when we don't fall into the definition of what life and people have placed on us, it's almost that we have to defend our life and our lifestyles and our life choices.
Right.
And I'm curious to see how we do this going forward, because I feel like the world is changing in so many different ways. There's been exposure to so many different things. You know, look at our political climate. You know, you really see who some people are. You know,
yeah,
like
you get a real like, oh, word, that's how you come in.
Yeah, our political climate has gave way to saying that, making it okay to say a lot of different things. And you want to talk about bullying? You know, this is,
and recognize people in your own life.
Yeah.
That they feel a certain way that you didn't realize they felt.
Yeah.
Or you didn't want to realize, or you didn't want to acknowledge.
Or maybe you just didn't have these conversations. We don't always talk about politics, you know.
but you can get an idea of how somebody thinks based on a real conversation that has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, just on a side note, if someone's like, I can't stand when those Puerto Ricans stand on the corner waiting for a truck to give them a job. Number one, they're not Puerto Rican. Number two, stand on the corner. Now I know where you stand.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me how you feel about what your thoughts on immigration are. So people had these comments before, but it's like you never paid attention. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was like time to vote, and you realize,
oh, hold up here.
Oh, word? So you want, like, oh, word? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but when you're talking about with the job thing, it's not even about saying something is more important than the other. It's just realizing that. Oh, this is one thing that I always told you when you had your kids, like when you were pregnant the first time with your twins, and you can agree to believe, to remember what I told you or not. I know you were pregnant, and sometimes people are saying a lot of things, but I told you then, and I feel like I've been consistent. Always put yourself first.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Your kids are gonna be fine. If they see you doing good, they're gonna do good.
Yeah.
If you put all your energy into just them, when they go
and have
you're
their
gonna
own
be
lives.
Sitting there like, I have no friends. My kids are away. They start their own, like.
That's the shit I need to do. I definitely put that.
I always told you.
Yeah.
I told you that when you were pregnant, though.
Yeah.
Like, put yourself
but I also have guilt
first.
from how my mom made
me
feel.
Though.
No, I know, but I'm getting better. I'm growing. I'm trying my best. But I just remember always having that feeling of not being wanted when it came to my mom, and I never wanted my kids to feel that.
But see, there's a thin line between treating your kids like they're not wanted and treating yourself like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And so the key is always. This is why, like, I always tell you, let's go to dinner.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's fine to bring the kids every once in a while.
Yeah.
But you're an adult.
I know.
We can't talk about, like, real conversations. We try.
I know.
But, I mean, you say, I know. But it's like, you need to really make an effort. Even if you're not going to go to dinner with me, fine. Go with somebody else.
Yeah.
Just make some time for yourself as an adult.
Yeah.
Your life can't be about your kids. And so when it's like, when that article about choosing a job over kids, it's not necessarily saying one is more important than the other, but it's saying in order to really be sane,
right,
and
you need
be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah, to show what people what an advocate is.
Work on the things that you bring you joy and happiness.
Yeah. Y'all need to read it. Be your own advocate.
Anyway.
Homie?
Yeah.
I love you.
Do you?
I do.
Okay, I believe you.
And?
I love you too.
No, and You're enough.
Oh, yes. You too. Where can they find us?
Yep Yeah Yes 18, Instagram, Twitter, the Yep Yeah Yes podcast on Facebook. Subscribe and download to iTunes, Podbean,
Google Play Music.
Thank you.
SoundCloud, YouTube. You said YouTube, right?
No, YouTube.
Anyway, tune in.
And
The Yep
tune
Yeah
in.
Yes podcast.
Tune in.
And hey, I'm not sure if this show is being posted on Wednesday or Thursday, as we are taping it on Wednesday.
Happy 4th of July.
But if it's Thursday, happy 4th of July. If you listen on Thursday, happy 4th of July. If you listen on Wednesday, be safe getting to your 4th of July.
Just
What?
I'm not trying to make it about the show. But what, 1776, right? Is the big year?
Not sure what those tanks in DC have to do with the Independence Day, but okay.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say women, especially minorities, haven't been voting for very long.
Right.
Let's not effing squander it, please.
And one other thing I want to say too is that, you know how they be like Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter? I'm going to add something to that. National Parks Matter. Take $2 million away from national parks so that you can have a fucking parade that has nothing to do with the 4th of July. You saw some stuff over in Europe that, oh, I want that. American ideals, tools, and values are not toys to be grabbed and played with.
Just like we
People,
tell all our kids.
you're making these military men and women work on the 4th of July so that you can have a parade in front of your rented home. I'm just saying. Vote, y'all. Please. November 2020. Leave it back. I'm going to get Marissa to have a political show one day. We're going to talk politics. I know you don't want to. We're going to do it.
I'm sweating already. I think
What we're going to do, though, is we're going to have another perspective on the show. We got to find a Republican that we're okay speaking with, an independent that we are okay speaking with, whoever else. I don't, whatever we can do, just have like a roundtable discussion. It's one thing, and I'm not saying you're a Democrat, liberal, whatever. I say that I am, but I feel like it's important to know what friends, family, whoever, how they feel, and maybe get a different perspective of why they feel the way they do. Because in my opinion, all Republicans hate anybody that's not white. Even though I know that's not true. Because there are plenty of minorities who are Republican. But it just, I don't feel like, anyway. On that note, I'll see you. Have a good 4th of July.
Have a good 4th of July.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.